Have you ever been in a situation where the person you care about the most suddenly starts pulling away? One moment, everything feels perfect. You're sharing laughs, making plans, and feeling an unbreakable connection. The next, it's as if they've disappeared into their own world, leaving you questioning everything. Did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? What happened to the closeness we shared? It's frustrating, confusing, and often it feels deeply personal. But here's the thing. Sometimes their distance has nothing to do with you at all. Relationships are complex, and people pull back for reasons that often go far beyond the surface. Maybe she's wrestling with her own fears of vulnerability, of losing control, or of giving up her independence. Maybe she's navigating personal struggles you can't see, or maybe, hard as it is to admit, her feelings have shifted. The truth is, every relationship goes through phases of closeness and distance. The key is how you respond when the tide pulls away. Do you panic, chase, and let your emotions spiral? Or do you approach these moments with patience, understanding, and the calm strength of a Stoic? In this video, we're diving deep into the real reasons why she might be ignoring you or pulling away. We'll explore how fears like losing independence or control can affect her actions, the personal battles she might be facing that she hasn't shared with you, how you can remain steady, patient, and emotionally resilient during these moments. No drama, no desperate chasing. Just clear, actionable insights that will help you navigate these challenges with maturity and strength. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to not only understand her behavior, but also to respond in a way that strengthens your self-worth and creates space for a deeper, more meaningful connection. So, if you've ever felt confused, frustrated, or even hurt by her silence, stick around, because these insights might be the key to transforming how you approach love, connection, and your own emotional growth. Let's get started. Number 1. Misalignment of expectations. Have you ever felt like you and your partner are speaking two entirely different languages? You're putting in effort, showing your love the best way you know how, yet it feels like she's distant, unresponsive, or even indifferent. This disconnect can leave you feeling frustrated and unappreciated, but the truth is, it may not be about a lack of love. It could simply be a misalignment of expectations. Relationships are deeply personal, and everyone has their own way of expressing love. Psychologists often refer to these as love languages, the ways in which people give and receive love. For instance, you might be someone who thrives on verbal affirmations. For you, love feels real when she says things like, "I miss you," or sends sweet, thoughtful messages throughout the day. These little interactions help you feel connected and reassured. But what if her love language is entirely different? Maybe she expresses love through acts of service or quality time. Instead of sending affectionate texts, she might show her care by planning a thoughtful date, cooking your favorite meal, or picking up something you mentioned needing. To her, these actions speak louder than words. The disconnect in action. Imagine this. It's a typical day, and you send her a heartfelt "good morning" text, hoping for a quick, warm reply. Hours go by, and there's no response. Meanwhile, she's at the store, thinking about what you'd enjoy for a weekend together, and picking up your favorite snacks for a surprise movie night. In her mind, she's showing love in a tangible, meaningful way. But in your mind, her silence feels like rejection. You're left wondering if she's upset, uninterested, or even ignoring you. This disconnect can create a vicious cycle of misunderstanding. You feel ignored, and she feels unappreciated because her gestures of love aren't being recognized. Why expectations matter? At the root of this issue is the expectation that your partner will love you in the way you prefer, or in the way you express love yourself. When those expectations aren't met, it's easy to jump to conclusions. She's losing interest. I'm not a priority to her. Does she even care anymore? But often, the reality is far simpler. She's loving you in her own way, a way that might not align with your expectations. This misalignment doesn't mean the relationship is doomed. It's simply an opportunity to grow in understanding and communication. By recognizing and respecting each other's love languages, you can bridge the gap and create a stronger connection. How to respond? Thoughtfully. When faced with this disconnect, it's important to approach the situation with patience and an open mind. Instead of reacting with frustration or assuming the worst, take a step back and ask yourself, how does she typically express love? Am I overlooking the ways she's showing she cares? Open a dialogue with her. Share how you feel most loved and ask her how she experiences love as well. For example, you might say, I really appreciate when we check in throughout the day. It helps me feel close to you. What are some ways that you feel most connected in a relationship? This conversation isn't about pointing fingers or demanding change. It's about understanding each other better. The power of Stoic wisdom. In moments of disconnect, Stoic philosophy offers a grounding perspective. Epictetus reminds us, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Instead of interpreting her silence as indifference, view it for what it might really be, a different way of expressing love. Think of love languages as a bridge. You're standing on one side, expressing love through verbal affirmations, while she's on the other side, showing love through actions. If neither of you is willing to meet in the middle, the connection may feel distant. But when both partners take a step toward each other, learning to appreciate and adapt to each other's love languages, the relationship grows stronger. A practical example. Let's say she seems distant for a few days. Instead of reacting emotionally, you try something new. You reflect on how she might be showing her care. Maybe she's been busy planning something thoughtful for the two of you, or handling something stressful in her own life. Instead of demanding more frequent communication, you reach out with patience. I've missed hearing from you this week. I hope everything is okay. Let me know if you want to talk. I'm here for you. This kind of response not only shows your emotional maturity, but also gives her the space to process her feelings while reminding her of your steady presence. Number 2, valuing convenience over connection. In today's fast-paced world, relationships often fall victim to the allure of convenience. People prioritize their own comfort over the emotional labor of building a meaningful connection. It's not always intentional or malicious. It's simply easier to focus on what requires the least effort. But when someone begins to value convenience over connection, it creates a dynamic that can leave you feeling underappreciated and emotionally drained. She may reach out when she's lonely, bored, or needs something from you, but when it's your turn to seek her time, her responses feel distant, uninterested, or even dismissive. This push-pull behavior isn't necessarily a reflection of how much she values you. Sometimes it's a sign that she hasn't fully invested in the relationship, or perhaps she's not ready for the depth of connection you're seeking. The cycle of convenience. Think back to a time when she sent you a sweet, thoughtful message asking how your day was. It felt special, like she genuinely cared about your life. But later, when you tried to make plans for the weekend, her tone shifted. Maybe she gave you a vague, non-committal response like, "I'll let you know," and never followed up. This cycle may have repeated itself. She's warm and engaged when it suits her, but distant or unavailable when you need consistency. Over time, it starts to feel like she's only half in, valuing the ease of your availability, without putting in equal effort to nurture a deeper bond. It's not that she's necessarily trying to use you. It may be that she's operating on autopilot, prioritizing what's convenient rather than what requires vulnerability and genuine effort. How convenience undermines connection. This dynamic can lead to feelings of frustration and self-doubt. You might catch yourself thinking, why am I always the one initiating? Why does she seem interested one moment and distant the next? Am I asking for too much? But the reality is, relationships thrive on mutual effort. When one person consistently values convenience over connection, it creates an imbalance that can erode trust and intimacy. Stoic wisdom for navigating convenience. This is where Stoic philosophy offers clarity and strength. Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Instead of trying to convince her of your worth or explain why she should invest more effort, show her through your actions. This doesn't mean playing games or withdrawing out of spite. It means setting boundaries and living by your own values. For example, if she only reaches out when it's convenient for her, respond calmly, but don't rearrange your life to accommodate her sporadic attention. Prioritize your own goals, hobbies, and friendships. Build a life that feels fulfilling with or without her presence. Show her that your self-worth isn't tied to her behavior. It comes from within. Setting boundaries without resentment. Setting boundaries is key to addressing this dynamic without creating unnecessary conflict. It's not about issuing ultimatums, but about protecting your emotional energy. For instance, if she frequently cancels plans or doesn't follow through, take note of the pattern. Instead of chasing her or trying to fix the situation, have an honest conversation with yourself. Am I okay with this dynamic? What do I truly want in a relationship? When you're clear about your own needs, it becomes easier to communicate them. You might say, I value consistency and effort in a relationship. If that's something we can work toward together, I'd love to grow this connection. But if not, I need to prioritize what's healthy for me. This approach isn't about blame or confrontation. It's about asserting your standards with confidence and grace. The strength in letting go of convenience. If she continues to value convenience over genuine connection, it may be time to reassess the relationship. Letting go can be difficult, but it's often necessary to create space for something better, something aligned with your values. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This doesn't mean settling for less than you deserve. It means recognizing when a connection isn't aligned and having the courage to move forward with dignity. What happens when you embody your values? When you prioritize your own growth and set clear boundaries, two things can happen. She might recognize the imbalance in her effort and begin to invest more meaningfully in the relationship. If she doesn't, you free yourself to find a connection that values mutual respect and effort. In either scenario, you win because you've chosen to honor your own needs and self-worth. Number 3. Testing your commitment. Have you ever felt like she's pulling back just to see how you'll respond? One day, everything feels perfect. Her affection is clear, her energy is warm, and her presence feels reassuring. Then suddenly she becomes distant, leaving you wondering if you've done something wrong. But what if her withdrawal isn't about pushing you away? What if it's her way of testing how much she can truly rely on you? For many women, especially those who have been hurt before, creating distance can be a way to seek reassurance. It's not necessarily a game or manipulation. Instead, it's her way of figuring out if your interest is genuine or conditional. whether you'll stick around when things get tough or pull away the moment things aren't easy. Understanding her fear. If she's been hurt in the past, she might carry emotional scars that make her cautious about opening up again. Maybe someone once promised to stay, but left at the first sign of difficulty. Or perhaps she shared her deepest fears with someone, only to have her vulnerability dismissed or taken for granted. These experiences can make her hesitant to trust fully, even when she feels strongly about you. When someone like this begins to fall for you, their instincts may tell them to test the waters. They might pull back to see how you react. Will you chase after her, showing her you care, or will you pull away too, confirming her fear that you were never fully invested? Imagine you've been dating for a few months. Things have been going smoothly, and the connection feels strong. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, she becomes distant, taking longer to respond to texts, avoiding plans, and giving short, vague answers when you reach out. It feels like she's testing you, and in a way, she is. She might be asking herself, is he here for the real me, or just the easy moments? Will he stick around if I stop putting in so much effort? Her silence isn't necessarily a sign of lost interest. It's a way of protecting herself while she observes whether your commitment is steady or conditional. How to respond. When she tests you. In these moments, it's tempting to react emotionally. You might feel the urge to send multiple messages asking if something is wrong or demand an explanation for her sudden change in behavior. But responding with fear or frustration often has the opposite effect, pushing her further away. Instead, take a step back and approach the situation with calmness and understanding. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. While she's not your enemy, the principle applies here. Don't mirror her withdrawal with frustration or insecurity. Instead, remain steady and composed, showing her that your care isn't fleeting or dependent on perfect circumstances. Offer consistency without pressure. One of the most reassuring things you can offer her during this phase is consistency. It's easy to show up when everything is smooth and effortless, but your steady presence during uncertain times is what truly demonstrates your commitment. Here's how you can handle these moments with maturity and emotional strength. Send a low-pressure message, something like, "I noticed you've been quiet lately. I hope everything's okay. Just wanted you to know I'm here if you need me." Avoid over-communicating. Don't flood her with follow-up messages. Give her space to process her feelings and decide how she wants to respond. Focus on yourself. While she's pulling back, use this time to prioritize your own growth, whether it's working on a personal project, spending time with friends, or hitting the gym. Imagine this scenario. She's been distant for a week, and you're starting to feel discouraged. Instead of sending multiple texts or questioning her commitment, you decide to stay steady. You send her one thoughtful message, then go about your day focusing on your own life. This calm, balanced approach sends a powerful message. It shows her that you're here for the long run, not because you're chasing validation, but because you genuinely care. Why testing happens. Her testing isn't about manipulation or playing games. More often than not, it's rooted in her own insecurities or fears. She's trying to determine if your commitment is real, or if it's just a surface-level connection that will fade when things get difficult. By staying calm, consistent, and true to yourself, you provide her with the reassurance she's seeking. You show her that your love isn't conditional or fleeting, but something steady and reliable. The long-term impact of patience. When you handle these moments with patience and emotional maturity, it strengthens the foundation of trust in your relationship. She begins to see you as someone who isn't easily swayed by temporary ups and downs, a partner who can weather the emotional storms with her. This doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs or constantly proving your worth. It means showing her that you value the connection enough to give it room to grow naturally, even when things aren't perfect. Stoic wisdom in love Epictetus taught us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Decide what kind of partner you want to be, someone who demands constant reassurance, or someone who offers steady, unwavering support. By embodying the Stoic principles of patience, self-control, and acceptance, you create a relationship dynamic that feels safe and secure for both of you. Building a relationship that lasts. Testing your commitment is often her way of seeking reassurance, even if she doesn't realize it. Your response during these moments speaks volumes. Will you react emotionally, or will you stand firm, showing her that your love is built on something deeper than fleeting emotions? When she sees that you're not easily shaken, that you're willing to weather the moments of doubt and distance, it creates a bond rooted in trust and understanding. She'll come back, not because you chased her, but because she felt the strength in your patience and the security in your presence. That's the kind of love that grows stronger over time, a love that's steady, grounded, and built on mutual respect and emotional resilience. Number 4, avoidance of vulnerability. For many women, opening up emotionally can feel like stepping onto a tightrope. Vulnerability is delicate and powerful, but it's also fraught with risk. If she's been hurt before, by betrayal, a painful breakup, or broken trust, she may instinctively build walls to protect herself. Her ignoring you or pulling back isn't necessarily a sign that she doesn't care. Often it's a defense mechanism, a way of guarding her heart against potential pain. To understand why she might retreat, imagine the weight of past experiences. Perhaps she once trusted someone deeply, only to have them walk away when she needed them most. Or maybe she shared her innermost fears and dreams, only to have her vulnerability dismissed or used against her. These experiences leave scars that can make opening up again feel terrifying, even when she wants to let you in. Why vulnerability feels dangerous. When someone starts to care deeply about you, it can trigger both excitement and fear. The closer she gets to you, the more exposed she feels. She may begin to wonder, will he truly accept me if he sees the parts of me I try to hide? What if I open up and get hurt again? For her, being vulnerable is like handing over a delicate piece of her heart, trusting that you won't drop it. If she feels overwhelmed by this risk, her instinct might be to pull back, not because she regrets opening up, but because she's processing the fear that comes with being seen. Imagine this scenario. You're having a deep, meaningful conversation with her. She starts sharing something personal, perhaps a story from her past or a fear she's been carrying. In that moment, you feel closer than ever. But afterward, something shifts. She becomes distant, takes longer to reply to messages, or seems less interested in connecting. It's not that she regrets sharing, it's that she's now wrestling with the vulnerability she exposed. She might be asking herself, did I reveal too much? What if he sees me differently now? Her silence is her way of protecting herself as she processes these fears. How to respond when she retreats. In moments like these, it's easy to feel hurt or frustrated. You might think, why is she shutting me out when I'm just trying to get closer? What did I do wrong? But Stoic philosophy offers a guiding principle. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Decide the kind of partner you want to be. Someone who demands constant openness, or someone who provides a safe, supportive space where vulnerability can unfold naturally. Here's how you can respond with patience and understanding. Avoid pressuring her. Don't demand an explanation for her silence or insist that she opens up immediately. Pressuring her will only reinforce her fear. Offer quiet reassurance. A simple message like, "I noticed you've been quieter lately. I just want you to know I'm here if you need me," shows your support without adding pressure. Focus on your own growth. While she's processing her emotions, redirect your energy toward activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. This not only keeps you balanced, but also demonstrates your emotional maturity. Finding balance. While she processes. When someone avoids vulnerability, it's not your job to fix them. Instead, focus on creating an environment where they feel safe enough to open up at their own pace. Imagine she's distant for a week after a vulnerable conversation. Instead of reacting with insecurity or frustration, you decide to stay calm and steady. You send her a thoughtful message, then go about your day, whether it's hitting the gym, working on a project, or spending time with friends. The role of Stoic principles. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we can't control others, but we can control how we respond. Seneca's wisdom is particularly relevant here. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. In relationships, this means knowing the kind of partner you want to be and staying true to that vision, even when things feel uncertain. If you want to be a supportive, understanding partner, practice patience and trust the process. Vulnerability takes time, especially for someone who has been hurt before. Accept that there will be periods of silence or withdrawal and embrace them as part of the journey. Strengthening the relationship through patience. The next time she seems distant after opening up, don't rush to fix or change the situation. Instead, focus on being the calm in her storm. Show her that you're not afraid of her walls and that you're willing to wait patiently until she feels safe enough to let you in. This kind of love, steady, patient, and grounded, is the kind that breaks through even the toughest defenses. And when she finally does open up, it will be because she knows she's found a partner who doesn't just want access to her heart, but is willing to earn it slowly and respectfully. What vulnerability builds. When she sees that you're not shaken by her moments of silence, it sends a powerful message. You're not here to rush her healing or force her to open up before she's ready. You're committed to building trust and understanding, even when it takes time. This reassurance can help her see that being vulnerable with you isn't a risk. It's an opportunity to deepen your connection. A foundation of trust. Avoidance of vulnerability isn't about a lack of love. It's about protecting oneself from pain. By responding with patience, you help her feel safe enough to lower her guard over time. This builds a foundation of trust that strengthens the relationship far beyond fleeting moments of affection. If you've ever faced this dynamic in your relationship, share your insights in the comments below. Or if you're ready to embrace the patience and understanding needed to navigate vulnerability, type "I choose understanding" as a reminder of the power of calm, steady love. Number 5. The push-pull dynamic relationships can be a roller coaster of emotions, especially when the push-pull dynamic comes into play. One moment, she's deeply engaged, texting you constantly, planning dates, and sharing her thoughts. The next, she seems to retreat, pulling away and leaving you wondering what happened. It's confusing, frustrating, and often feels like a test of your patience. But this push-pull dynamic is rarely about manipulation. For many women, especially those who feel deeply, it's a way of navigating the overwhelming intensity of their emotions. Love can be exhilarating, but it can also feel like losing control. When emotions run deep, the instinct to pull back and regain balance can kick in. Understanding the push-pull dynamic. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast ocean. The view is breathtaking, but the depth is intimidating. For someone who's experiencing powerful feelings, falling in love can feel like stepping into those unknown waters. It's thrilling, but also terrifying. When the connection deepens, she may instinctively retreat, not because she doesn't care, but because she needs time to process what she's feeling. This isn't rejection, it's a way to regain her emotional footing. Let's say you've just shared an amazing weekend together. Everything feels perfect, like you're both completely in sync. But as the new week begins, her energy shifts. She texts less, her responses are short and unenthusiastic, and she seems distant. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? What's really happening is that she's overwhelmed by the intensity of the connection. Pulling back allows her to reflect and make sure she's not losing herself in the process. Why it feels personal. When someone pulls away, it's natural to feel hurt or even panicked. You might interpret her withdrawal as a sign that her feelings have changed or that you've done something to push her away. But often, her retreat has nothing to do with you. The push-pull dynamic is her way of navigating emotions that feel all-consuming. For someone who values independence or struggles with vulnerability, this back and forth can feel like a necessary safeguard. How to respond to the push-pull dynamic. The most important thing you can do when she pulls away is to stay grounded. Resist the urge to chase her or demand explanations. Instead, approach the situation with patience and self-assurance. Stoic philosophy provides a powerful mindset for navigating these moments. Marcus Aurelius advises, accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. Here's how to embody this wisdom. Don't panic. Her pulling back isn't the end of the relationship. It's part of its natural rhythm. Relationships, like the ocean, have tides. There will be moments of intense closeness and periods of distance. Give her space. Instead of reacting with fear or frustration, allow her the time she needs to process her emotions. Respect her need to step back without taking it personally. Focus on yourself. Use this time to invest in your own growth. Pursue hobbies, spend time with friends, or work on personal goals. Show her that you have a fulfilling life outside the relationship. Imagine she's been distant for a few days. Instead of sending multiple texts or asking, "What's wrong?" you send her a calm, thoughtful message like, "I've noticed you've been quieter this week. I just want you to know I'm here when you're ready to talk." Then shift your focus to your own life. By doing so, you demonstrate emotional maturity and show her that you're not dependent on constant reassurance. The role of trust in the push-pull dynamic. This dynamic is often rooted in her own fears or insecurities, not a lack of care. She might be testing whether the connection is strong enough to withstand moments of uncertainty. When you respond with calmness and consistency, it reassures her that the relationship is a safe space. Trust is built not by forcing her to stay close, but by showing her that you'll remain steady, even when she pulls away. Strength through Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and emotions. You can't control her need for space, but you can control how you respond. By maintaining your composure, you create an environment where she feels safe to return when she's ready. As Seneca wisely said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." When you embody emotional stability, you show her that your love isn't fleeting or conditional. It's built on a foundation of patience and understanding. Turning the push-pull into growth over time, responding to the push-pull dynamic with steadiness and self-assurance can deepen your connection. She'll come to see you as a source of calm and stability, a partner who doesn't panic in the face of emotional tides. When she feels ready to re-engage, it will be because she trusts that your love is grounded, not reactionary. You'll have shown her that she doesn't need to fear being overwhelmed by the connection because you respect her process and her need for space. A love that lasts. The push-pull dynamic isn't a sign of a weak relationship. It's often a reflection of emotional intensity. By embracing these moments as part of the natural flow of a relationship, you strengthen your bond and build trust. So the next time she pulls away, don't let fear or frustration drive your actions. Stand firm in your own self-worth. Give her the space she needs and trust that the connection will return stronger than before. That's the kind of love that lasts. A love built on patience, respect, and the unwavering confidence that you can weather any emotional storm together. Number 6. Fear of losing independence. For many women, love is both a beautiful and daunting experience. The closer they get to someone, the more they might feel the need to protect their own sense of self. It's a paradox that can be difficult to navigate. What seems like her pulling away from the relationship might actually be her way of holding on to her independence. Falling in love often means letting someone into the life you've carefully built. For a woman who values her independence, this can feel like stepping into unknown territory. It's not that she loves you any less. In fact, it's often the depth of her feelings that triggers her instinct to retreat. Why independence feels threatened. Imagine a woman who has spent years creating a life she's proud of, a thriving career, meaningful hobbies, and a close-knit circle of friends. She's used to making decisions on her own terms, setting her schedule, and enjoying her autonomy. Then, love enters the picture. It's exhilarating, yes, but it also stirs up a deep-seated fear. Will I lose myself in this relationship? Will I have to give up the freedom I've worked so hard to build? When these fears surface, she might instinctively pull back. Ignoring your messages, canceling plans, or becoming distant isn't about losing interest. It's her way of creating a buffer to reassure herself that she hasn't lost control of her life. For example, if she's used to spending weekends alone or with friends, suddenly spending all her time with you might feel overwhelming. She may need space to recalibrate and remind herself that she's still in charge of her own life. How it looks in action. Think back to a time when she was all in, sending sweet texts, making plans, and showing you affection. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, her energy shifts. She stops replying as frequently, seems less enthusiastic about spending time together, or simply becomes more reserved. It is easy to interpret this change as a sign that her feelings have faded. But in reality, she's likely grappling with the fear of losing her autonomy. This fear can make even the most loving connection feel like a potential threat to her independence. How to respond? Thoughtfully. When she pulls back, your instinct might be to close the gap immediately. You might feel tempted to send more messages, ask if something's wrong, or push for answers. But this approach can backfire, reinforcing her fear that the relationship might consume her independence. Instead, respond with patience and understanding. Here's how to approach the situation. Give her space, respect her need for time to herself, without taking it personally. Focus on your own life. Pursue your hobbies, spend time with friends, and invest in your personal growth. Reassure her without pressure. A calm message like, "I noticed you've been quieter lately. Just wanted to let you know I'm here if you want to talk," can go a long way. Imagine she's distant for a few days. Instead of questioning her or demanding an explanation, you send her a thoughtful, low-pressure message and then shift your focus to your own goals. This shows her that you respect her autonomy and that your sense of self isn't dependent on her constant presence. The role of Stoic wisdom. Stoic philosophy provides invaluable guidance in moments like these. As Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Preparation in this case means developing your own sense of independence and emotional stability. The opportunity is using her need for space as a moment to show that you respect her individuality while also valuing your own. By remaining calm and secure, you create a relationship dynamic that feels safe and balanced. The strength of independence in love. It's important to understand that her fear of losing independence isn't about rejecting the relationship. It's about finding balance within it. By giving her the space to reconnect with herself, you show her that love doesn't have to come at the cost of autonomy. This reassures her that she can maintain her individuality while still building a meaningful connection with you. What happens when you respect her independence? When you give her room to breathe, two things can happen. She'll feel reassured that the relationship doesn't threaten her sense of self and will naturally re-engage when she's ready. She'll recognize that you're a partner who values her as an individual, which deepens her trust in you. This creates a dynamic where love and independence coexist harmoniously. Building a relationship that lasts. The fear of losing independence is a common challenge in relationships, but it doesn't have to create distance. By respecting her need for space and maintaining your own sense of individuality, you build a relationship that thrives on mutual respect and freedom. So, the next time she pulls back, don't let fear or insecurity drive your actions. Stand firm, focus on your own growth, and trust that the connection will grow stronger as you both find balance together. That's the kind of love that lasts, a love rooted in patience, understanding, and the unwavering confidence that two strong individuals can create something even stronger together. Number 7. Struggling with inner battles. Sometimes the silence of someone you care about has nothing to do with you. It's not about how much they love you or value the relationship. It's about the storm they're quietly weathering within. When she pulls back, ignores your texts, or seems emotionally unavailable, it might not be a reflection of her feelings for you. Instead, it could be her way of coping with personal challenges that she isn't ready to share. This isn't rejection, it's survival. The weight of unseen struggles. Life is full of stresses that we often carry silently. Work pressures, family conflicts, financial worries, or battles with mental health. When these burdens pile up, it can feel impossible to open up to someone else, even a loved one. For some, silence becomes a shield. It's their way of protecting you from their chaos or creating space to process their emotions without the added pressure of explaining themselves. Imagine she's dealing with a demanding situation at work or navigating tension within her family. Perhaps she's wrestling with her own self-doubt, anxiety, or a lingering sense of inadequacy. In these moments, her mind becomes a battlefield, and the last thing she can manage is the added responsibility of reassuring you when she's struggling to reassure herself. What her distance might mean. Think about a time when she was completely engaged in the relationship, checking in with you, making plans, and showering you with affection. Then, out of nowhere, her energy shifted. She stopped responding as quickly, cancelled plans, or seemed emotionally distant. It's easy to interpret this as a sign of disinterest or fading feelings, but more often than not, her silence is a reflection of her inner battle. She might be thinking, "I can't handle more stress right now. I don't want to burden him with what I'm going through. I just need time to sort things out." This withdrawal isn't about pushing you away. It's about her struggling to hold herself together. The trap of overthinking. In moments like these, your mind can start spinning stories. You might think, she's losing interest in me. I must have done something wrong. She's distancing herself because she wants out. But as the Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The narratives we create in our minds are often far worse than the truth. What she needs isn't your overthinking, it's your calm, steady support. How to respond when she's struggling. When someone you love is battling inner turmoil, your role isn't to fix their problems or demand answers. It's to create a safe space for them to return to when they're ready. Here's how you can respond thoughtfully. Offer quiet support. Send a simple, non-pressuring message like, "I noticed you've been quieter lately. I'm here if you want to talk or need anything." This lets her know you care without adding to her stress. Don't over-communicate. Avoid bombarding her with questions or frequent texts. This can feel overwhelming when she's already struggling. Focus on your own life. Use this time to invest in your personal growth, start a new project, reconnect with friends, or engage in activities that bring you joy. Imagine she's been distant for a week. Instead of spiraling into doubt, you send her one thoughtful message and then spend your time doing things that nurture your own well-being. When she's ready to reconnect, you'll be in a better emotional space to support her without resentment or frustration. Understanding her silence. Her silence isn't necessarily about you. It's about the storm she's navigating. Recognizing this is a critical step in maintaining your own emotional balance and showing her that you're a partner she can rely on, even in tough times. The role of Stoic principles. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for navigating these moments. Marcus Aurelius teaches, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Here's how Stoic wisdom applies. Focus on what you can control. You can't control her struggles or her silence, but you can control how you respond. Choose patience and understanding over fear and frustration. Stay grounded in your own self-worth. Don't let her temporary withdrawal make you question your value. Trust the process. Allow her the space she needs to work through her challenges. Building resilience in the relationship. When someone you love is struggling, your steady presence can make all the difference. Instead of trying to solve her problems, focus on showing her that your love is unwavering. This builds trust and strengthens the bond between you. Remember, relationships aren't just about being there during the good times. They're about weathering the storms together. When she's ready to reconnect. When she feels ready to open up again, she'll remember the patience and understanding you showed. Your calm support reassures her that she doesn't need to hide her struggles from you, and that your love isn't dependent on perfect circumstances. A love that endures. Inner battles. Struggling with inner battles is a part of being human. By choosing to respond with empathy and emotional maturity, you show her that your connection is built on something deeper than fleeting emotions. The next time she pulls back, don't jump to conclusions or let insecurity drive your actions. Instead, offer quiet support. Focus on your own growth and trust that the love you've built can withstand moments of distance. This kind of love, patient, understanding, and steady, is what turns challenges into opportunities for growth and strengthens the foundation of a lasting partnership. If you've been in a similar situation where someone you cared about was struggling internally, share your story in the comments below. Or, if you're ready to offer calm support and patience in your relationships, type "I choose understanding" as a declaration of your commitment to love with empathy and strength. Number 8. The fear of losing control. For some people, love feels like diving into a powerful current, exhilarating and transformative, yet overwhelming and unpredictable. For a woman who values control over her emotions and life, falling in love can be both thrilling and terrifying. As her feelings deepen, she might instinctively pull back, not because she doesn't care, but because she's trying to regain her sense of control and emotional balance. Understanding the fear of losing control. Imagine she's someone who has always prided herself on being self-sufficient. She's used to managing her emotions. Instead of feeling like she's managing her emotions, she starts to feel like her emotions are managing her. The connection she feels with you might feel intense, perhaps even a little overwhelming. This isn't a reflection of how much she values you, but rather a signal of her own struggle to maintain control. When this fear takes hold, her instinct might be to create distance. Ignoring your texts, canceling plans, or retreating into silence isn't necessarily a sign of lost interest. It's her way of building a temporary buffer to process what she's feeling without feeling swept away by the intensity of the relationship. How it might look in your relationship. Think about a time when she was fully engaged, sharing her thoughts, making plans, and leaning into the connection. Then, out of nowhere, she becomes quieter, her responses feel more reserved, and she seems distant. You might find yourself wondering, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Why is she pulling away when everything was going so well? What's really happening is that she's grappling with the fear of losing control over her emotions and her life. For someone used to being in charge of their feelings, falling in love can feel like stepping into an unfamiliar current, and pulling back is her way of finding stability. The trap of insecurity. When she retreats, it's natural to feel insecure or even frustrated. You might feel tempted to chase after her, asking questions like, "Why are you ignoring me? Is everything okay? Did I do something wrong?" But reacting emotionally can have the opposite effect. It might reinforce her fear that the relationship is taking over her sense of self, making her pull back even further. How to respond when she pulls back. The best way to handle this situation is to meet her fear with calmness and understanding. Stoic wisdom reminds us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, responses, and emotions. Here's how you can respond thoughtfully. Give her space. Respect her need for distance without taking it personally. This shows her that you understand her need for autonomy. Send a supportive message, a calm and reassuring note like, "I noticed you've been a bit quiet. Just wanted you to know I'm here if you need me," can let her know you care without adding pressure. Focus on yourself. Redirect your energy to things that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether it's working out, pursuing a hobby, or reconnecting with friends. This demonstrates your own emotional stability and shows her that you value your independence as well. Imagine she's distant for a week. Instead of sending multiple texts or pushing her for answers, you choose a different approach. You send her one thoughtful message, then go about your day, focusing on your personal goals. This calm and balanced response reassures her that the relationship doesn't threaten her independence. Why this approach works. When she feels overwhelmed, what she needs most is a safe space to process her emotions. By giving her room to breathe and avoiding reactive behavior, you're showing her that your love is steady and non-invasive. This not only alleviates her fears, but also strengthens the trust between you. Building trust through patience. The fear of losing control is rooted in vulnerability, and trust is the key to overcoming it. By responding to her distance with patience and understanding, You create an environment where she feels safe enough to let her guard down. Remember, trust isn't built by chasing someone or demanding explanations. It's built by showing her that you can handle the moments of uncertainty with grace and composure. The power of emotional stability. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true strength lies in self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In the context of relationships, this means focusing on your own emotional stability rather than trying to control her actions. When she sees that you're calm and steady, it reassures her that the relationship isn't a threat to her independence. A balanced relationship. Over time, your patience and understanding will show her that love doesn't have to mean losing herself. It can be a partnership where both people maintain their individuality while growing together. When she's ready to re-engage, it will be because she feels safe with you, not pressured or overwhelmed. She'll see you as a partner who respects her need for autonomy and offers a love that is steady, reliable, and grounded. A love that respects freedom. The fear of losing control is a natural response to intense emotions, but it doesn't have to create distance in the long term. By responding to her retreat with calmness and emotional maturity, you show her that love can coexist with independence. The next time she pulls back, resist the urge to panic or overreact. Stand firm in your own self-worth. Give her the space she needs, and trust that the connection will grow stronger as she learns to navigate her feelings. This kind of love, a love that respects freedom while fostering connection, is what builds lasting relationships. If you've experienced this dynamic in your relationship, share your insights in the comments below. Or, if you're ready to meet fear with patience and trust, type, "I choose calm," as a reminder of your commitment to steady, respectful love. Number 9. The hard truth, a lack of true interest. Sometimes the silence, the distance, or the lack of engagement from someone you care about points to a painful reality. She may no longer be as interested as she once was. This isn't an easy truth to face, especially when you've been investing your time, energy, and emotions into the relationship. But recognizing this shift is essential for your emotional well-being and personal growth. Facing the reality. At first, it's easy to explain away her withdrawal. You might tell yourself, "She's just busy right now. She needs some space to figure things out. She'll come back around once things settle down for her." But as time passes, her behavior continues to reinforce that nagging feeling inside you, that her interest simply isn't what it used to be. Her texts become shorter and less frequent, her enthusiasm for plans fades, and she seems emotionally detached. It's a tough realization, but sometimes her silence and lack of effort speak louder than her words. Her feelings might have changed, and she may no longer be as invested in the relationship. Why her interest may fade. There are many reasons why someone's feelings shift over time. These changes are rarely about you, and more often about her evolving needs, emotions, or circumstances. Common reasons include the initial spark has faded. Infatuation doesn't always transition into deeper connection. The relationship no longer fulfills her needs. She may have realized she wants something different. She's met someone new. While painful, this can be a reality in modern relationships. Her personal priorities have shifted. She might be focused on work, family, or other aspects of her life. Regardless of the cause, the result is the same. Her actions signal that she's emotionally drifting away, even if she hasn't explicitly said it. The role of Stoicism in acceptance. When faced with this kind of situation, it's easy to spiral into self-doubt. You might think, What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough for her? Could I have done something to change this? But Stoic philosophy teaches us to separate what we can control from what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you allow her disinterest to consume your thoughts, it will begin to erode your self-esteem. Her changing feelings are not a reflection of your worth or value. They are a reflection of her journey, not yours. Instead of internalizing her withdrawal, focus on what you can control. Your response to the situation, your commitment to your own self-worth, your ability to move forward with dignity and grace. How to handle a lack of interest. When you recognize that her feelings have changed, it's important to respond thoughtfully. Here's how to navigate this challenging situation. Accept the reality. Fighting or denying her lack of interest won't change it. Acknowledge what her actions are telling you. Stop chasing her, trying to reignite her interest by overcompensating, sending more texts, initiating all the plans, or seeking her validation will only drain you emotionally. Reaffirm your self-worth. Remind yourself of your strengths, values, and what you bring to a relationship. Her fading interest is not a reflection of your value as a person. Focus on your growth. Use this time to invest in yourself. Reconnect with your passions, strengthen your relationships with friends and family, and pursue your personal goals. Finding strength in letting go. Letting go of someone who is no longer invested in the relationship is one of the hardest things to do. But clinging to a connection that no longer serves you only prolongs your pain. By releasing her with grace, you create space for something better, something aligned with your values and desires. As Marcus Aurelius said, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This doesn't mean settling for less or diminishing your hopes for love. It means recognizing when a relationship isn't aligned and choosing to move forward with dignity. How letting go empowers you. When you accept the reality of her disinterest without resentment or bitterness, you demonstrate incredible strength. You show that your self-worth isn't tied to whether someone chooses you, but to how you choose to respond. This process transforms you into someone who doesn't settle for half-hearted interest, holds out for a relationship built on mutual respect and commitment, embodies emotional resilience and self-assurance. The person you become through this journey will attract a partner who values and cherishes you for who you are. A love worth waiting for. When her actions signal a lack of true interest, it's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you make room for a love that is genuine, mutual, and deeply fulfilling. So, if you're noticing her distance and disinterest, don't take it as a rejection of your worth. Take it as an opportunity to refocus your energy on building the life and love you deserve. Final thoughts. We've covered a lot today, and it's not easy to hear that someone's feelings may have changed. But Stoic wisdom reminds us that while we can't control the emotions of others, we can control how we respond to them. If you've found yourself in a situation where someone's interest has faded, take a step back and focus on your own growth. Drop an affirmation in the comments, "I stand strong," to declare that you're prioritizing your well-being over any relationship that no longer serves you. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more empowering content about love, growth, and emotional resilience. You deserve someone who values you just as much as you value them. Stay strong, stay stoic, and trust that by letting go, you're making room for the connection you truly deserve.